Get started. Welcome to this afternoon's webinar. My name is Jared Wong. I'm the communications analyst with FCERA. I'm here today to talk to you guys a little bit about your retirement benefits and what they mean for you and your beneficiaries, so you guys can help plan for the future. So just a couple of friendly reminders. I have this along a lot of my webinars. The main things about today is there's going to be a lot of information I'm going to be covering in this short hour. I definitely want to leave open room for any questions that you guys have. So if you guys do have questions, feel free to drop them into those Q&A box right there, and I will answer those as I go through the presentation. If you guys have any questions that you think of after the presentation or anything of that nature, please, you can feel free to give us a call or send us an email. Our phone number and our email address is right there on the screen for you. And I will give you guys a contact information toward the end as well. Okay, so today's webinar is about planning for your retirement, planning for your beneficiaries, and just planning in general. So I do have an agenda for this presentation today. Very similar to kind of how I construct a lot of my webinars I've done in the past. If you've attended some of the webinars I do, we are going to talk about what your retirement benefits are from FCERA as far as what your beneficiaries can receive. But before we get to that, there may be some new people here that have never attended one of our webinars or doesn't really know much about the retirement benefit. So I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit first to kind of to warm you guys up, let you guys know what your benefit is from FCERA, what kind of retirement it is. We're going to cover a little bit about retirement eligibility and the retirement options. So I'm going to discuss very briefly the different options that you have available to you when you retire. And then that will lead into the discussion a little bit about your beneficiary benefits, what your beneficiary can get from you, from your retirement if something were to happen to you. So we're going to cover all the different aspects and scenarios that we have with that. And then finally, I'm going to give you guys a little couple of tips there, how you guys can prepare for the future. And then at the end, if you guys have any questions, feel free. That's what we're here for. Ask away, and we'll try to answer as many questions as you can. You can just throw them in the chat while the presentation is going on as well. And I will try to answer them as best as I can. Okay. So the first kind of thing I wanted to cover with you all is what is your retirement that you get from FCERA? Well, FCERA is a defined benefit plan. So what this is, what this really means to you guys is when you retire from the county, you will get a payment from us. A defined benefit is a lifetime benefit that you will get, so you will get paid every month as long as you are alive. Then, in the case of your death or something, your beneficiary may be able to get something from your benefit after the fact. Now, your retirement from FCERA, like I mentioned, is lifetime. It's calculated monthly based on specific factors. So we look at a couple of specific factors on how we calculate your lifetime benefit from us. So the first couple factors that you guys can see on the screen right there, we look at your age of retirement, we look at your years of service, or what we call service credits, and then we look at your salary, or what we call final average compensation. We take those three factors, we multiply those together, whatever that comes out to be, that's what you're going to get from us every month for the remainder of your lifetime. Now, something else that is considered into helping calculate your benefit for retirement as well is your tier level and membership classification. Inside of our pension plan, we have two different types of memberships, general and safety, and we have multiple tiers in our plan. General members have 5 tiers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Safety members have 4 tiers, 1, 2, 4, and 5. I don't want to really go into that too much today, but what I am going to do and provide you guys really quickly here in the chat. If you guys have not visited our website, I recommend you guys do so. Our website does have a lot of good information about a lot of the things I'm talking about today, but more specifically, what I posted in the chat for you guys there is, if you have not looked at it yet, it's a link to our video library. A lot of the previous webinars and things that I've done on YouTube during the lunch hour or anything like that, that some of you may have seen before. That's going to really be talking about other stuff about retirement. I definitely recommend checking that out, especially one that I just created end of last year that has to it's a whole webinar dedicated on planning for your retirement when you're less than 1 year out from retiring. So there's that video library there. That's always going to be updated on our website. I have a lot of plans for that stuff in the future, so just kind of stay tuned and we keep checking that out frequently. Anyways, so your defined benefit plan is a lifetime benefit, as I mentioned. So you'll get a payment from us every month for the remainder of your lifetime. Sounds great, right? So this could actually really help with you and your beneficiary as far as planning. Now, there are some requirements in order to get this lifetime benefit from us. So the members, which are you, the employees, do have to meet requirements in order to get some type of a benefit from us in the future. Now, the first requirement that you do need to meet is vesting. So I have on this slide right here, all members need to be vested in the plan which is you need to have at least 5 years of service credit. If you have that 5 years of service credit, then you're eligible to receive a lifetime monthly allowance upon retirement eligibility. Excuse me. Usually that means you can retire at that point when you have 5 years of service, as long as you meet the other requirements, usually age and things like that. But once you hit that 5-year mark, you're vested, you're entitled to some type of a benefit from us. So all employees, all members of FCERA, all the employees of the county that are full-time, in order to get something from us in the future to where you could potentially provide something to your beneficiary, you do need to at least have 5 years of service. Now, once members hit their vesting period mark, this is what we consider a milestone in your career as a FCERA member. That's one of your first milestones. Then it's part of planning, hitting that retirement process there, and then finally hitting retirement, and then enjoying that next chapter of your life. Okay, so that's really the big thing here is, while yes, we do provide a lifetime benefit to you, which is a great benefit for all of you, there are requirements, so you do need to be vested with that 5 years of service. Now, on this slide here, this shows the different retirement eligibility requirements for each membership class and tier level that we have in our plan. Now, I'm going to cover all these really quickly, but before I do, I know that some people, if they've never seen this type of information before, are going to ask, well, what tier am I? What membership class am I in? Well, you can easily find this information out a couple different ways. So you can give us a call or send us an email. We can find that out for you. Or if you have an account with us in our member portal will allow you to look at that information. You can see what classification you are in, whether you're a general or a safety member, or what tier level you were in. So for example, any new employee that was hired by the county and you became a member of FCERA after January 1st of 2013 is placed in our newest tier, which is tier 5, which is regardless if you are considered a general or safety member. Safety members consist of correctional officers, deputy sheriffs, firefighters, chief investigations, district attorney investigators. It's a short list. The membership classifications are designated by your job title. So all that information can be found in the member portal, or you can contact us and we can find out and provide that information to you. Now, real quickly here on this slide, these are the general retirement eligibility requirements. Now, these requirements are the absolute minimum requirements that you can excuse my poor choice of words. These are the absolute minimum requirements that a member must have in order to retire and start drawing their FCERA monthly benefit check. Now, for general tiers 1 through 4, the minimum requirements is age 50 with 10 years of service. General tier 5 is age 50 with 5 years of service. Safety tiers 1, 2, and 4 is age 50 with 10 years of service. And safety tier 5 is age 50 with 5 years of service. Now, I want to quickly go back to the previous slide. I talked about what the defined benefit plan is and how we say that we look at 3 specific factors of your age, years of service, and your final average compensation, or what we call salary. Now, all these 3 factors can all help increase your monthly benefit. So the older you are, the more years of service that you work at the county, the higher salary that you earned over throughout your career. All these impact what you will get from us get from us later on in your lifetime. So while these are the requirements that you could have to meet in order to start retirement, that doesn't mean if you meet the minimum. So let's just say I'm a general tier 5 member and I have 5 years under my belt and I'm 52, I technically could retire. But if I want to enhance my benefit even more to potentially provide myself and then my beneficiaries later on in life more of a benefit, then maybe I have to be older, work more, get more years of service, get my salary increased through a new promotion, things like that. All these factors increase and impact what you're going to get from us monthly. So just kind of keep that in mind. Alrighty. So this next slide here, and I know it might be a little difficult to see depending on if you are how you're viewing this. So this is just a summary sheet of all the different options that we offer here at for your retirement. And I'm also going to link this in the chat for you, a PDF that you can find on our website as well. This is the same type of information. So what I'm really going to do here is just kind of go over the different options that are available to you really briefly. I'm not going to really go into these too much in depth just because today's webinar, I want to kind of keep this around 20-25 minutes with some questions and then have some questions after like that. But the link I have in the chat prior to that with our video library, I actually did a specific benefit options webinar that spends the entire hour going over the different options in more detail. I definitely recommend checking that out. Okay, so we have 5 options that we offer our members when they're going through the retirement process. The first option that we offer is what is called the unmodified option, which is the highest benefit available that we can offer you, the member, based off of the 3 factors of age, years of service, and your final average compensation. Now, to go with the theme of what this webinar is supposed to be about today, about benefit options for your beneficiaries and planning ahead, for the unmodified option does leave a 60% lifetime continuous. So that means that if something were to happen to you, 60% of whatever you're getting will go to your eligible beneficiary, and that eligible beneficiary will get that amount every month for the remainder of their lifetime. And it will depend, because I'll go over what that eligible beneficiary is. Now, that eligible beneficiary for the unmodified option is a spouse or a minor child. So if you select this unmodified option during retirement and you have a spouse, in the case of your death, that spouse will receive 60% of whatever you're getting. So if your benefit amount per month was $4,000, they'll get 60% of that, and they'll get that amount every month for the remainder of their lifetime. Now, if you do not have a spouse, and let's say that your beneficiary at the time that you're retiring is a minor child, so that is a child under the age of 18, so they can receive that 60% continues all the way up until they turn 18 or age 22 if they are full-time enrolled in an accredited school and they provide us transcripts each semester or class schedule. So the minor child, while they're eligible for that 60% continuance, that only lasts up until they reach a certain age. Spouse, it lasts for the remainder of their lifetime. Now, this option here, while I mentioned it, the big thing, it gives a 60% lifetime continuance. So what if you don't have either? Well, that's okay. You can still select this option. What this does then, if you have a non-eligible beneficiary, there will be a lump sum of your paid retirement contributions, so the contributions that you yourself have been putting in while you're actively employed. If there are any remaining contributions in that bucket at the time of your passing, that lump sum in that bucket would go to your beneficiary in a one-time payment. Okay, so that's kind of how the unmodified option works. The next option that we offer is option 1, which is a slightly reduced benefit. The big thing about this option that is different and sets apart itself from the other options that you see on the screen there is this option does not provide a survivor continuance. So it does not provide a surviving continuing lifetime benefit to the beneficiary, regardless if it's a minor child or a spouse. Now, what this option does is it pays out a lump sum of your remaining contributions and interest in that bucket at the time of your passing. With this option here, the member can select a beneficiary of their choice. It could be anyone. Normally, this option is selected amongst members that are not married. So if they have an adult child, if they have a friend, a sibling that they want to leave a beneficiary, they tend to gravitate toward this option. Now, this option, as I mentioned, pays out a one-time lump sum of your contribution balance, whatever's left in that bucket. Option 1 uses up your contribution bucket at a slightly reduced rate, meaning that this lump sum bucket of your contributions, if you were to select this option 1, that bucket lasts anywhere from 15 to 18 years. So if you were to pass between that time frame or less than that time frame, there should be contributions in that bucket to pay out to the beneficiary of your choice if something were to happen to you. After that, after about maybe 18 years, I would say there's probably nothing left to pay out of your account to your beneficiary of choice if something were to happen. Now, the other 3 options quickly that you guys see on the screen right there, options 2, 3, and 4, the big things is they all provide a continuing lifetime benefit to a beneficiary of your choice. Now, all 3 of these options provide a different provide a different continuance option based off for the beneficiary, but this also impacts what you get from us per month. So what that really means is, so for example, option 2 provides a 100% continuance of a member's reduced benefit for their lifetime. So with these options here, 2, 3, and 4, you could provide a survivor continuance to any beneficiary of your choice. It does not have to be a spouse or a minor child. It could be a sibling, a friend, a parent. It could even be your neighbor. It could be me, for example. But what that's going to do is when you're ready to come into the office and start the retirement process, we will ask for who your named beneficiary is, especially if you're looking at those options. And we look at the age difference between you and that beneficiary. The bigger the age difference between you and that beneficiary, the more of a decrease and a reduction of your monthly benefit that you're going to take compared to the unmodified or the option 1. That is because we have to ensure that there's enough funds in the plan to not only pay you for your lifetime, but to pay your beneficiary that you have listed for the remainder of their lifetime as well. So for option 2 provides a 100% continuance. Option 3 provides a 50% continuance. Option 4 is something that we don't really talk about too much. It is a customized actuarial calculation. Usually this type of option is used for divorces, but basically what this option does in a nutshell, it allows you to list multiple beneficiaries to leave a survivor continuance. Now, as I mentioned before, I'm not really going into these options with super detail, just because of time and everything like that. But as I mentioned, I linked our video library in the chat there. You guys can check that out. It has there, or you can always send us an email, and we can kindly go over that stuff with you as well, over the phone or through email. Okay, so now we're going to kind of get into like the beneficiary part and the planning part. But this is actually a question that we get asked a lot in our office, multiple times throughout the week. How much is my benefit at retirement? What am I going to get? How do I know how to plan if I don't know what I'm going to get? Well, there's actually a great way that you guys can look at what you're going to potentially get from us in your future for retirement for planning purposes. And this is what this webinar is mostly about, is about planning, right? So the best way to start planning for your FCERA benefit, and when I say planning for your retirement and planning for the future, this is just, remember, your FCERA benefit is only one portion of that. You have other stuff that you need to focus on as well, if you have deferred comp, things like that. But for as far as your FCERA benefits, the best way that you can look at your information to help for planning purposes is utilizing the FCERA member portal. Now, if you guys have been in webinars that I've done or been in live seminars or have talked to me at different departments, things like that, you know that I preach using the FCERA member portal a lot, because it is your best way to just kind of know what's going on. The member portal will allow you to look at all your information in real time. So some of the things that you guys can do inside the member portal, you can look at who we have listed as your beneficiary, as the theme is today. So that's super, super important. So we have, see who we have listed for you. You can view your contribution balance. And more importantly, there is a benefit calculator inside the member portal that will allow you to run benefit estimates to see what you potentially could get per month from us at various dates of retirement. It is the best tool that you guys can use to help plan out your FCERA benefit. So if you do not have an account, that's quite okay. It's a really easy to get one. So all you need to do is register for an account on our website, and our website's right there, FresnoCountyRetirement.org. Now, however, you will need a unique identifier. This is a number that we created in our system that's individual to you to help complete that registration, so we know it's you. So in order to obtain that unique identifier, there's two ways that you can go about this. You can give us a call to our office and we verify your identity that way, or if you send us an email with your county email address, we can get that unique identifier for you, so you can access the member portal and look at your benefit options. Now, I put the email address there in the chat just in case if we have some people here that do not have member portal accounts. Send us an email to there and we can get you that unique identifier so we can help you register for the portal. I definitely recommend everybody have an account because, as I mentioned, this is one of the best ways that you can look at your options here. So you can look at your benefit, help plan, okay, if I know I'm going to retire at 65 and that's a hard cutoff, this is potentially what I'm going to get for myself. These are the different options that I have. Okay, so if I take this other option, this is what my amount's going to be. This is what I potentially am going to leave to my spouse, for example. So that way it's going to help with planning purposes and things like that. Also, on our website, we do have a video tutorial that I did of the member portal. I know it's a little long. It's a webinar version. I am going to be coming out with about a 2 or 3 minute quick video about how to use the member portal in a little bit faster, but we do have a full webinar that is developed for the member portal. If you want to learn more on how to use every aspect of it, it's in our video library on our website, so check that out if you're interested. Okay. All right, so now we're going to get into the actual death benefits that we provide to our members and our beneficiaries, which goes along with the theme about for planning in the future. So in our pension plan, we do offer different types of death benefits to all our members' beneficiaries for all these different types of situations. So depending on the situation, that will determine the options that are available to you. So first, I want to cover the different benefits to the beneficiaries if something happens to the member prior to retirement. So if they were actively employed and something were to happen, I want to that's what this slide is for here, to kind of go over the different options that are available. So first, any active member with 5 years or more service, so they are vested in the plan, have 3 options available for the named beneficiary. Normally, this is an eligible and I will get to that, what that means. So for the first option there, option 1 is what we consider for the death benefits for the active employees. This could be any beneficiary. It does not have to be a spouse or a minor child. What this beneficiary is entitled to is a return of all the employee contributions that the member has contributed through active employment and interest on those contributions. We earn interest on our contributions twice a year on June 30th and December 31st, and then they could receive up to 6 months of the employee's salary. Now, options 2 and 3 that are listed there on the page right there are for qualified beneficiaries only, and these qualified beneficiaries either is a spouse or a minor child. So option 2 would provide the qualified beneficiary with a survivor allowance monthly benefit, so monthly survivor's benefit. So that would be calculated based off of the member's statistics of age, years of service, and final average compensation. So that option 2 would be a full survivor allowance benefit. Now the third option there that is for qualified beneficiaries as well would see a reduced monthly survivor's allowance benefit. So it would be a reduced amount compared to option 2, and up to 6 months of the employee's salary. So there are a couple different options that the qualified beneficiary can choose if they meet that requirement. Otherwise, if they do not have a qualified beneficiary, it is that option 1, which is a refund of their contributions and interest and up to 6 months of employee salary. Okay, and then kind of covering a couple of other different things prior to retirement, the death benefits prior to retirement as well. So what happens if we have an employee, something were to happen to them with less than 5 years of service? So if they're not vested, that beneficiary that the member has listed is a return of employee contributions, so a refund of all the contributions that the member has put in interest and up to 6 months of employee salary. If a member is considered deferred, what this means is if you were to leave county service and you left your contributions in the FCERA system, and then while you've been on deferred status, something happens to you, then your beneficiary is entitled to a refund of your, or a return, I should say, refund, return, same kind of thing in this situation. A return of employee contributions and interest, very similar to the active members who are not vested. Now, we also do have a couple of others, a non-service connected death. Member must have at least 5 years of service. Spouse or minor child must be a beneficiary to receive the 60% continuance of a non-service connected death or service retirement, whichever is greater. And then, so that is a, and then a service connected death, a death on the job. The member does not have to be vested with 5 years of service. A spouse or minor child must be a beneficiary to receive 100% of the service-connected death retirement or the member's service retirement, whatever amount is greater. I will say that those two bottom options right there don't happen too much, but if you would like more information about a lot of this other stuff here and want to talk it a little bit more with more detail, please reach out to our office, speak to a retirement specialist. That's what we're here for. We'll be able to help you with answer any questions that you have. Okay, and then this slide here on the next one here, this is just a review of kind of the benefit options page that I went over, but these are the different death benefits that are available to you, to your beneficiary after retirement. So when you select an option and finish the retirement process. So for the unmodified option, just to recap, this leaves a 60% lifetime continuance to an eligible beneficiary, which is a spouse or a minor child. If you select this option but do not have an eligible beneficiary, that's okay. A refund of remaining contributions would be awarded to that beneficiary if something were to happen to you. Now, with the unmodified option compared to option one, the refund for the contributions for under the unmodified option, usually that contribution bucket lasts anywhere from 2 to 3 years. After that, it's exhausted. So probably after 3 years, there won't be any money left to pay out to your to your beneficiary in the case of your death. However, as long as you are still, as I mentioned earlier, as long as you're still alive, you will get paid from us every month. Option one is just a strict refund of your remaining contribution balance. So that bucket lasts anywhere from 15 to 18 years. And then the other two options provide a survivor continuance to your named beneficiary. Option two provides about 100% continuance. Option three provides a 50% continuance. So these are all the different benefits that we can pay out to your beneficiary if something were to happen to you. Now, moving forward, the big question that I have for you guys is, do you know who your beneficiary is? Yes? No? Maybe so? Yes, but I need to change it. So these are all the different options that someone could say, right? So think to yourself for a minute. Do you know who your beneficiary is that's listed in our system? And I will tell you that if you're unaware, if you happen to ever change this beneficiary information with county HR, employee benefits, they don't share that information with us. So if you changed it with them, your beneficiary is probably still the same from the last time you updated or when you were hired. So designating beneficiaries is super, super important. This is also part of the planning stage. I can't stress this enough. Always make sure that your beneficiary is up to date with us. Your beneficiary can be anyone, and benefits are eligible if the member is vested, non-vested, active, or deferred. You always want to make sure that your beneficiary is up to date with us. As I mentioned, your employer, in this case the county, does not share these information with us. So if you have to change your beneficiary information, there is a form on our website that can be filled out. Super, super simple. Just go to our website, print out that form, fill it out, and mail it or drop it off to our office. Because we do, in order to accept a beneficiary change form, we do need a wet signature, the original wet signature of that form. If you haven't checked up in a while, make sure to check who your beneficiary is, because the worst thing is we don't want something to happen to you and you didn't get to update your beneficiary and it doesn't, and if there's any monies to go out of that account, it doesn't go to the person that you wanted it to go to. So just make sure to always keep that up to date. I can't stress that enough, because that's super, super important, especially if you're planning for the future, especially for members like myself that I recently got married a couple years ago. So I immediately changed my beneficiary, my spouse on there, updated that information, things like that. So any life changes like that, just make sure that you notify us, fill out that beneficiary change form, and send that in. Okay. And finally, kind of just to wrap up a little bit, how to prepare. Understand your FCERA benefit. So obviously this preparedness is only related to your FCERA benefit. I can't speak on other stuff that's going on, but understand how your benefit works. Understand what the different options are available to you, especially if you're close to retirement. Understand how the benefit works, the different options are available to you, so that way, you have all your ducks in a row. Keep your beneficiary up to date. I can't stress that enough. Keep your beneficiary up to date. That's super, super important. Ask questions. That's what we're here for. Ask us questions. Call us, email us. That's what we're here for. We want to make sure that we can give you the information that we can to help you make the best decision. We can't tell you what to do, but we can give you enough information to help you make that informed decision. Plan and discuss your options early with you and your beneficiaries. So especially if you know you're looking to retire within the next 5 years, start looking at your benefit options and figuring out which one option you're going to take. Look at your beneficiaries. If you're married, talk to your spouse about look at the whole options that are available to you and things like that, and start planning early and discussing this stuff. And then finally, this is just my own little tidbit that I wanted to add there, because I didn't want to really talk about it too much, because you're going to hear from other outlets this week if you attend the other webinars. But look at your entire financial picture. Your FCERA pension is only one fraction of your entire financial picture. Look at the entire picture and make sure that you're prepared in other aspects. Make sure your beneficiary is up to date with that stuff. So like deferred comp, for example, bank accounts, things like that. Look at your entire financial picture and have a plan. Some people talk about drawing up wills early, especially people around my age, young married couples, especially when they have their first child, they're starting to draw up wills and have something in place. That doesn't mean that something's going to happen. They just want to have a plan and plan ahead. So that you want to start looking at this stuff, even if it seems like it's a little weary and you're not really sure. It's better to start planning ahead than not. I do see a couple questions in the chat. I will get to those after these last two slides, but if you guys have questions, just throw them in the chat there. That's what, and then I'll start answering them as best as I can. This is our contact information. Our physical address is 7772 North Palm Avenue. If you guys are familiar with Palmanese area across the street from GB3, that's where our office is. We're open 8 to 12, 1 to 5, and then on Mondays through Thursdays. Friday, we're open 8 to 12. There's our phone number right there if you guys want to give us a call about asking any questions. Email address, that's if you want to send any email to us about any questions or anything like that. There's our email address, and then our website for more information. And then finally, this is just something that I want to point out here. I have a QR code there for our link tree for our social media channels. So for our YouTube page, Instagram page, and LinkedIn page. We're going to be really using social media a lot to push more information in the new year and things like that. I'm very excited with all the content that I have in the works for you guys. My goal as your communication analyst for FCERA for your retirement as a county employee is I want to provide you guys enough information to help you make the best decisions for your retirement, because I want to see everybody win. So that's our QR code right there for all our social channels. So if you want to check that out, give us a follow, things like that. We are going to be launching a new website in the next 2 to 3 months, so we're really, really excited about that. We'll have more info about that when that happens. So with that, I'm going to leave. I have one more slide about questions, but I'm not going to do that because there's no point. I want to leave the QR code there, and then I can start looking in some of the questions that are being asked here. Okay, so let's start with the first question about reciprocity. Okay. So how quickly from the time documents are submitted to FCERA does reciprocity get established? How are members notified of the completion and status? So okay. Um, the short answer to that, Maria, is it depends. So it really depends on it depends on who the other agency is and how fast the information can be exchanged between the two, because there are some things that have to be looked at. We have to look at data membership, things like that. So it can take some time. We we have in the past, I would say have experienced some pretty heavy turnover, just like some other county departments. So we finally have a full team in place on our benefit side. So we are working to try and get these done as timely as possible. Usually when these reciprocity requests are completed, whether the member can establish reciprocity or not, we'll mail you something to let you know of the status. But if your status is still, if you still haven't heard anything and you still want to know what the update is, you can email us or call us and we can help you out with that. Okay, a great question. Will there be an online option to change beneficiaries? Seems like most government agencies will now accept e-signature. The short answer is I'm working on it. This is a process that doesn't, this is a process that we're looking at. I don't have a timetable for you. I want to see us advance to this in the future, but there are some things that we need to look at before we can do. If we are able to offer that to you all in the future, you'll definitely get an email or something from me to let you guys know. But we are aware of that, and I appreciate you bringing that up. We are looking at that. Let's see here. The next question scenario: if I choose the unmodified option, my spouse is my beneficiary. If we were to die in an accident together, is there no option for a contingent beneficiary? So yes, you can list a contingent beneficiary. You can list a contingent beneficiary for currently as yes. So if something were to happen to both you and the spouse, then if you have a contingency beneficiary listed, then if there's any monies to be paid out of your account, we would contact that beneficiary. How does reciprocity work? I worked for one county and moved to this one years ago. Um, so that's going to be a very, very long answer. And I would say, okay, so what I'm going to suggest is, in the short cliff notes, reciprocity is the linking of two California public agency retirement systems. So FCERA links with another agency like CalPERS or the city of Fresno, things like that. There are benefits that the member can inherit from reciprocity. In this in the in the sake of time for right now, because that's a long answer, we do have a video about reciprocity on our website, and we have information on our website. You can watch that, or if you want to email me. If you want to email me directly, and I will put my email in the chat too as well, I can send you an email with more information or give you a phone call and talk to you about that as well. Sorry about that. It's just I got a lot of questions I'm trying to get through in the short amount of time, but yes. So when do you anticipate this webinar being posted on YouTube so we can watch it at home with our spouse? I'm hoping that this will be up hopefully by the end of the day or probably tomorrow at best. Can more than one beneficiary be listed for option one? Yes. Can you further explain the difference between the unmodified option and option one, specifically when you do not have a spouse and you will name an adult child? Okay, so the unmodified option provides the maximum benefit that you can receive based off those three specific factors of age, years of service, and final average compensation. Option one is a slightly reduced benefit from the unmodified. The unmodified is the highest benefit that you can get from us. Every other option that's available for a member to select is a reduction compared to the unmodified. So the option one takes a slightly reduced reduction in their benefit. Now, option one does not provide a survivor continuance, as I mentioned, to a eligible spouse or a minor child. It leaves a lump sum one-time payment to the named beneficiary on your account. Normally, this option is selected amongst non-married members that want to, like in this example that you're giving, want to name an adult child as the beneficiary. Option one uses up your contribution bucket at a slower rate throughout your retirement. So you will get paid every month. Your contribution bucket will be reduced by the amount that you're getting paid every month. Option one reduces that contribution bucket at a slower rate. So the chances of potentially leaving any type of a lump sum to your beneficiary of choice there for that option one lasts anywhere from 15 to 18 years. The unmodified option, since it provides a survivor continuous of 60% to an eligible beneficiary, if you were to list a non-eligible beneficiary, that contribution bucket there for that option only lasts anywhere from 2 to 3 years. So after that, nothing would be there. The best rule of thumb for that is if you're looking to leave your adult child at least a little something, and you want to give a chance to potentially leave them something in the future, option one would probably be the better option, simply because that contribution bucket lasts longer compared to the unmodified option. And then both of those options, I forgot to mention, unmodified and option one, do allow you to change your beneficiary after retirement. So the only two options that we offer that allow you to do so. So hopefully that helps. I know it's a lot, but hopefully that helps. So can I add a person after I retire if I get married? That's a fantastic question. So so yes, you can, but options 2 and 3 and 4, which provide a survivor continuance, those beneficiaries cannot be changed. You can only add a person to your beneficiary for retirement purposes if you select unmodified or option 1. Now, let's say that you take unmodified and you were not married at the time, and you listed let's just say you listed a friend as a beneficiary. And then after retirement, you got married. As long as you were married for at least 2 years and at the time of death, your spouse is 55 or older, that spouse would be eligible to get a 60% continuous of whatever you're getting per month. If you selected option 1, regardless if that's a spouse or not, that option 1, the spouse would only be able to be eligible for any potential remainings of your contributions in that contribution bucket. So hopefully that makes sense. CalPERS to FCERA, I'm assuming you mean the reciprocity thing. As I mentioned, check out that video I did about reciprocity. It goes over the entire process, but if you have any other questions, I put my email there. You can reach out to me. I'd be happy to assist. Knowing that I do not have a qualified beneficiary, what option gives me the highest payout for myself during my retirement? So the unmodified option still provides the highest benefit amount that you can receive, regardless if you have a qualified beneficiary or not. Now, the option 1 is a slight reduction. It's not too much of a reduction, and that could leave a chance of a lump sum payment to your beneficiary of up to 15 to 18 years within that time frame to potentially leave them something. So it's really up to you what you feel is the best way to kind of see the difference between the unmodified and the option 1. You can actually run a benefit calculation in our member portal to see that difference. And then you can see how that differs out, and that might help make your decision a little bit when you're getting closer to retirement. Another question, can I merge my Transamerica retirement plan from a previous employer? Unfortunately, no. So you cannot roll over any type of previous employer retirement plans into the FCERA plan. However, if you have a deferred comp plan with Nationwide, the 457 plan, you may be able to roll those funds over to that account. I recommend contacting Nationwide directly. Does my spouse and I need a marriage certificate in order for them to be my beneficiary? In order to get a survivor continuance, yes, we would need a copy of not only your birth certificate, a copy of the marriage certificate, and a copy of the spouse's birth certificate. So yes, that is important. Unmodified option. If I'm deceased after retiring and my spouse started receiving the 60%, then my spouse dies, will my contingent beneficiary receive the remaining benefits left? Um, at that point, there probably wouldn't be anything to be paid out of that account. The only thing that potentially could be paid out of that account is what we consider final days. So what that means is if the member or the beneficiary passes, let's say early in the month, let's say they pass away on the 10th of October, and our office was notified, and we were able to stop the member or the beneficiary's October benefit check from being issued, then we would owe the beneficiary or or whoever the next of kin, I should say, left for that, um, the remaining money for that 10 days that they were owed, they were owed for that member or that beneficiary that was alive. So that's what kind of final days is. That would really be the only thing that would be available for that contingent beneficiary in that scenario that you're giving. So hopefully that made sense. I know it seems like I'm talking really, really fast. It's just there's a lot of questions and we're running a little short on time. So I just want to make sure that I try to get through these as best as I can. Okay, so we do have about 11 minutes left. That's really all I have for you guys today. So if you guys don't have any questions, um, feel free to check out and enjoy the rest of your lunch and rest of the day. If you guys have more questions, feel free to throw them in the chat there. Um, I'll hang around for a little bit longer. If I don't have any questions in the next couple minutes, I think that just might do it for us today. But I appreciate you all being here. Hopefully this information was very helpful, and will help you guys in the planning process. Retirement is a very retirement is a very retirement is a very complex subject. So thank you guys for taking out the time to kind of learn more about your options. If my spouse and I were married without a marriage certificate through common law, so I don't have the 100% answer for that. I don't want to give you bad information. I recommend giving us a call or sending us an email so we can verify that for you, give you the correct answer. My first initial thought is you still need a marriage certificate, but I would contact our office and speak to a retirement specialist, and then that way we can get that answer 100% confirmed to you. I apologize I don't have that answer for you right here, but I definitely don't want to give you wrong information. So definitely reach out to us and speak to a retirement specialist that we can get that answer for you. But that's a fantastic question. Give it a couple more minutes and see if anybody has any other questions. But in the meantime, I guess I can kind of give you guys an idea of what I'm looking at to provide to you all in the next few months here to close out the year. I will be trying to do a little bit more webinars monthly up until the end of the year. We're going to have probably another one. I know for a fact I will be having one in December, one in November. December is going to be about planning for retirement if you're about a year out. And then other webinars as well. I will be doing a mid-career webinar as well in the near future. That webinar I've done in the past is for members that have over 5 years of service, have been here at least 5 to 10 years, but don't plan on retiring anytime soon, to give them a little bit more of a crash course about their retirement and things that they can do throughout their career to be ready for that. So there's a lot of different things that I'm looking at doing and providing to you all. So I'm very excited, and hopefully you guys will check that stuff out. So it doesn't look like I have any more questions. So if there are no more questions, I think that's going to do it for us today. I appreciate your guys' attention and all your questions that you have. You guys all had great questions. Hopefully all this information was helpful. If you guys have any additional questions in the future or anything, you guys need anything from us, give us a call or send us an email. And we can get that to you. Okay, so I have one more question. Is there a set percentage that options 1 and 4 are less than the unmodified? There is not a set percentage. Options 2, 3, and 4 are based off of the age difference between you and your beneficiary. So there are no there to basically answer your question, there are no set percentages. Okay. If I list both my children as beneficiaries, going to update, will I need to provide death certificate or can I just make the change? If I list both my children as the beneficiary, going to update, will I need to provide a death certificate? No, you will not. The one time that the only time that we will ask for a death certificate when changing a beneficiary is if you were death certificate or divorce documents is if you're removing a spouse. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you found the information helpful. That's what I strive for. I want to definitely make sure that I can give you guys as best and as much information as I can so you guys can make the best decisions for your future. All right, but great questions. I appreciate all those questions today. But yeah, so thank you again for being here this afternoon. Um, Sorry if you guys are still thinking of questions, but if you have any more, send us an email. You can send me an email directly. I'll be happy to help you. Enjoy the rest of your lunch hour. Enjoy the rest of your week, and have a great. It's actually a holiday weekend, so enjoy your holiday. Goodbye, everyone.